Hello, I'm Justin. Today I'll be going over a couple of different uses for the BLE module that we practiced using a little bit in class for ICC 7, which we went over the two example projects, the thermometer and the Find Me projects. For those, you would just simply import the pre-made project and run it, and it would send out the communication for the thermometer uh, value. It would send it to whatever Bluetooth device you were using, and then for the Find Me, it was just the alert levels. Pick three different levels, and you could make it blink differently. These are very useful. I would say the Find Me is a lot more useful for if your project needs different functions, where then you could just pick different alert levels and activate a different function for your project. Today I'll be going over the Automation IO project example that Infineon has. For that, what um, what the project does is it lets you change the current coming out of one of your pins, and also has a function to activate like an LED. So it has a couple different functions. I can pull it up on my phone really quickly and show you what it looks like. So it's not a great UI and also super out of focus. Um, but all right, here you can kind of see it. There's 5 different values that the PSOC outputs to your device, and you can read different characteristics, whether one of them is whether or not a button is being activated, where you can click really hard to see, but down here it says read, and you can click this and see what value is currently active. Right now it says 1. These onboard buttons for the PSOC are a little weird because they read as 1 when they're not being pressed, read as 0 when they are being pressed. So if I press it and click it again, it is now saying 0. I know, really hard to read, but it is now reading 1. It's now reading 0. Super hard to read. Other than that, it has a couple different, the two that'll change the LED or the current are these two. The bottom one will change the LED. Let me first read what it is right now, and it says 0x or 0000. This one is not for the LED, it's for the current, and changing that changes how much current will be output. 0000 obviously will output no current. For the LED, if I read that, right now it says 00, and if I want to turn the LED on, which right now it's off, if I want to turn it on, all I have to do is change the 00 to a 01, activate that, boom, LED is on, and now in the app it says 00 or 01, 0x01. For the current, right now I have just a simple H-bridge, um, H-bridge circuit and motor set up. Uh, this way, depending on the current that is output, the H-bridge will send the voltage to the motor, turning it on. And as we saw before, the current value, maybe I can get a better view over here. Nope. The current value is 0000. If I change that to 0x, let's say 50, now the motor is turned on. I don't know if you can hear it, but motor's on. And if I want to turn it off, simply change it back to 0x00, motor's off. Just in case you couldn't hear it, let me turn it back on. Hold on. 50. Really hard to hear, but it is on. It moves on its own a little bit. It's trying to get off of the box, but so that is a useful project um, for like this motors, LEDs. I can also show you where to find this project if you do want to use it, where to find information on it. Let me hop over to that, make sure it's seeing my screen. Okay, so for Automation IO, all you have to do to find this is search up this website, and you can find a 17-page document going over the different uh, objects in the profile or in the project, as well as um, what these components are being used for, what exactly the parameters need to be. Now, when you import to PSOC, it automatically sets these parameters, so there's no need to change anything. Like this one, BLE Automation IO Instant, I all I did was file, code example, and then automation, create the project. I'll name it something like BLE Automation test. Get rid of all this. Go in there. Okay. And so now we're in automation test. And if I simply program it, let me prop my circuit up on this box again. Now, something that I did notice when I first programmed it was the motor came on before I necessarily wanted it to, because current was immediately being sent through the, let's see which pin it is, through the pin 30. But to fix that, all you have to do is connect to the device, which once again I'll show you here. It's programming, so we will hop back over here, bring it back down. In the app, it will be called, oh man, nope. All right, well, you gotta take my word for it. In the app, it will be called Automation IO. Simply connect to it, pair, go to the GAT. Maybe if let me change this a little bit. That did not help. Maybe. Enter the services. You're provided with some characteristics. And so now, oof, this is, let's see. Now I can simply turn it on again by going to 0x50, and it's back to moving around. Let me place it here so it moves more. And before it can fall off, change it to 0, 0. So yeah, very simple, very much just download it, connect it, and that's all that there is to it. You can, like I did, or like I have experimented with a little bit, you can go into the main and change around some of the values in here, or change some of the functions. I know in um, where is it? There's a lot of stuff that you don't really need to worry about. There's a lot of just interactions with the Bluetooth device that this is doing that I wouldn't recommend messing with, since it already connects straight away. It already works. and I'll be going more into the sort of custom building Bluetooth connection in when I talk about creating a custom profile. This is mostly just going over an alternative to the two examples that we did in class. But if we go over to the output LED handler, instead of activating an LED when you change a 0 to a 1, you could instead make this activate the motor, or you could have it perform some other function that you need to do. Like you could have it um, activate a servo to move a certain distance when you change the 0 to a 1. There's really a lot that you can change about this instead of like for this. This is where if the value that the user puts into the phone, if they put in 0x01, then it outputs, or for this one, if they put in 0x00, then it turns off the LED. But if they do not put in 0x00, then it turns the LED on. Instead of turning the LED on, you could instead put some extra code to do like servo 1 right, and then have it go the distance that you want it to go. There's just a good amount that you can change if you don't need to use an LED, or for um, if you wanted to instead use an LED in the current position, or for the um, part that relates to changing current, what you could do, and what I can demonstrate in just a second, is instead of connecting like an H bridge and a motor and changing how much current goes through there, if you wanted to do the motor on the LED bit and instead have an LED in the current pin, what you could do is change the intensity of a light, like a light bulb or a headlight. And let me just demonstrate that real quick. So now instead of the circuit I had before, I simply connected an LED to pin 30 and ground. And so now when I change the value of this to say 10, now the LED is very dim. If I change it to 50, a bit brighter. If I change it to uh, 80, back dim. So that's too much for it. I think 70 might be the maximum. Yeah. So you can change the intensity based on the amount of current that you're sending through the pin. And that's just another use for it. I could see it being useful for, um, say, if you want the user to be able to manually adjust the lights on the bike or on whatever project you're making, then they can manually do it, or you could also have a function where if they change the 0 to a 1 on the onboard LED, so instead of it doing this when they change a 0 to a 1, you could maybe have it so that when it's 1, the uh, the headlight is automatically set depending on the surrounding light. Or if they change it to a 0, then it gives the user manual control over the intensity of the headlight or light bulb or motor, whatever you're working with. It's just a lot of different things that you could do with pre-made projects. And I think this is really useful. Um, if you want to read more into the specifics behind the profile, you're welcome to look up this website, or I think if you just search Automation IO BLE, Is that what it is? It is BLE Automation IO. It might be slightly different. Cypress. Here it is. This is the website that I found that had all of the information on the IO profile. Should be here. Yep. And this just goes more in depth. It also provides some resources and goes over a few other functions that this has. Um, and yeah, so that's it for that example. For the next one, I'll be going over how to create a custom profile. And for the example that is given in this, they use an RGB LED, but um, you can configure it however you want. However, for the example, I'm going to be following along with the RGB LED, especially because you could not see any of that. Hold on. I will cut that out. But if you want to see the automation IO for yourself and go through the PDF, you're welcome to, like I said before, either search up this website, or if you simply search PSOC Automation IO BLE tutorial, go here. This takes you to a little uh, feedback forum, and then if you go to this PDF, 17 pages, and it goes over some of the more intricate details of the profile, the example profile. I didn't go very in depth to it right here, simply because I'm about to cover creating a custom BLE profile and a project. So it would have been a little bit redundant to go through um, each of the details for this. There's definitely more to explore here, and you're welcome to do it. I would recommend simply finding this PDF and creating the code example that they have provided. And next, I'll be going over this 44-page document, creating a BLE custom profile. In this, they use um, a, or they go over the creation of an RGB LED controller. So for our PSOC boards, they will show how to control um, this LED right here at the top, how to change the color based off of um, your phone using a color wheel. And I think it's really nice, really helpful for some projects. And you can take the concepts in that custom creation to make something of your own. The main reason that I'm following exactly along with the um, the walkthrough is because they already have a pre-made UI made for the color wheel. And for most other projects, that won't exist. You'll have to manually input um, the the values in hex form or ASCII form in order to manipulate the um, functionality of your project.